Hey, my name is David and welcome back for another project video. Today we are going to turn an amber into a black hybrid goblet with 2 captive rings. And you are right, this is not my first goblet on this channel, but I think you should definitely check the others out if you haven't seen them, because they're all different colors, different shapes, so check them out. But this one will be special because this is the first with actual voiceover. So let's get going. Using my self-made molds, and oh yeah, those thick walls will definitely keep the resin inside. Trust me, the last you want is a leakage on your resin mold. And I had some experience with that. I will mix up 2 different batches. As I said, it will be black. However, I do want to have some sort of swirls inside the resin. So I will use, in one part, some sort of black colors, and the other one will be more of a silver, grayish color. So hopefully the end result will contain some sort of swirls, if you follow me. If not, don't worry, I will show at the end. And then it can go into our pressure pot for overnight. And just very quickly to wrap it up, what pressure pot is, basically is a pressurized system what allows the resin to cure under 60 psi of pressure, which means it will compress the air bubbles, so you will end up with a nice bubble-free resin. And after a couple of days later, this is our resin blank, and as you can see, it will pop out very nicely from this silicone molds. Before I pour the resin, I also use some wax mold release, which just helps with getting the piece out of the mold. And my best method of utilizing some 5 minutes epoxy resin and the waste block with the face plates screwed onto it to mount this on my lathe. Again, I won't be using too much pressure here. You don't want to squeeze out all your epoxy resin, just enough so it will cure with filling up all the little gaps between waste block and the piece. And as you can see, I'm starting rough shaping with a traditional tool rather than going into my usual negative rate carbide bits, which I normally talk a lot about it, how good it is on resin. And the only reason this shapes or rough shapes the piece a lot faster than going in with the negative rate scraper. However, the surface at this stage, it is full of chip outs, but that's fine, because then once I have it fully rough shaped, I can just go back with my negative rate scraper and then start shaping into the desired shape, and therefore getting rid of all the little chip outs. However, one of the disadvantages when you go with all those little chip outs, first of all, is like little sharp shards flying into your hand if you work close to the project. Can be a bit painful, and also it can cover the entire workshop because they just flew everywhere, so something to consider. And since I don't play tennis, I can really utilize this board to help me reducing some vibration. Since this is a spindle work, definitely helps out. And just some finishing touches with the spindle gouge here, and I normally get a nasty catch here, but not this time, so lucky me. This is where I'm marking out where the 2 captive rings will go, and then after I can just remove some of the excess materials in order to start shaping the rings. This is again a higher risk maneuver. This tool is fairly aggressive, so I'm pointing the tool a little bit downwards just to kind of create that negative angle. Previously I had some catches again with using this tool, but this just really helps to shape the ring in a perfect half circle. So yeah, I do like to use the tool, but definitely involves with a little bit of risk, and I had rings exploding on me after using this tool, so just be careful. At this point, I'm not going to cut all the way through the wall, so I will leave the piece on the body, and the only reason it's a lot more easier to sand if the rings is still attached to the body, and once I'm happy with the actual sanding, I can just finish removing some more excess materials, and then I can come back to the rings to be completely detached from the main body. And here we are, just a gentle little touch both sides, and boom, the rings are separated. Been using just a little bit of tape to keep the rings on one side until I can work on the other side, and then vice versa, we will switch it again once I'm finished carving the top side. There you go. The last thing you want, your piece spinning at 600 RPM, and all of a sudden your rings come to your cutting edge and boom. So using a tape definitely makes it a lot more safer. Then just some finishing touches at the inside of the rings, and whilst I'm using a power tool here, a lot of hand sanding needed to get a nice circle all around the rings. But I had to edit that because I don't think anyone is ready for 2 hours hand sanding, so lucky you. And we are nearly there for the finishing touches, so I'm using some alcohol to wipe down all the dust before I can spray some gloss lacquer. Due to the rings, this process is definitely a little bit complex because you have to do in 3 different stages, and the only reason, if you want to do in one single go as you spraying the body, obviously the rings are still spinning all around, therefore the lacquer won't be nice because the rings constantly spinning around a fresh lacquer surface, which will just scratch or not dry evenly. So you have to do it in separate. First I do the rings, and then I will uncover half part of the goblet, which I normally do the top first, and then I can spray the top, and then once it's fully cured, which is normally I leave it for a good 24 hours, and I have to apply around 8 to 9 different layers. Each layer needs to dry for 20 minutes before the other layer, so it's quite a complex and time-consuming process, but once you get it right, again, the finish can be extremely beautiful. And then now we are ready to remove this from the waste block and do the finishing touches at the bottom of the goblet. Oh, and by the way, the reason I used black color for this project, this was a customer order for a wedding. So one for him, which was the black color, and obviously I have one for her, which was a white color goblet. So let me know if you want to see, but I do have another very similar, exactly identical goblet, but in white color. So let me know down below in the comments if you would like to see, then I will get it edited and upload it on my channel. And here we are, the finishing touches, just using some 30 minutes epoxy resin to bring the bottom to a very similar look as the rest of the piece and achieving a high gloss finish with popping the bubble. Here we are. Thanks for watching. See you soon.